Make sure you check the description for any links to any pertinent articles. Come up with your opinions, think for yourself. But I kind of just wanted to go over civility in politics, or more like today, where is it? It's not anywhere at all. There doesn't seem to be any civility, and I don't know what brought it on or why, but at this point, it doesn't really seem to matter as much. I mean, looking at just the nature of how we talk, uh, I think it was more Democrat. I don't even want to say Democrat, just far left thinking people, as opposed to like moderately liberal people who just gloves off, name calling, identity politics. If you don't agree, you're a zenit. That's a new word. That's a new word that came out with identity politics was, xenophobe, there's homophobe, transphobe, anything with phobe, anything a lot of anti things, and it's just people being portrayed, and that's what I think. I think it was far left people, and then at a certain point, Republicans were tired of putting up more clean cut type of people, because you had John McCain, you had what is it from Utah? I'm trying to think of Massachusetts. Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney. You had Mitt Romney. Oh, who am I trying to think? John Kasich, Jeb Bush. You have all these guys who, as far as things seem to be concerned, they seem to be pretty decent people. Mike Pence. Mike Pence gets it the worst, and it's the craziest contrast between Trump and Pence. You see just how easy it is to label these, I want to say, nice guys or nice people or seemingly nice people with these labels, and they don't fight back, so it just sticks. I mean, how easily did it stick that Pence hates gay people and believed in electroshock therapy, when, as far as I've seen, I don't think there's any basis in that. There doesn't seem to be that he's into torturing gay people or anything like that. But yet there is kind of this stigma, and same happened with Ben Carson, as soft spoken. They made fun of him for being too soft spoken. They made it seem like he was, always asleep. And they made it seem like Mike Pence was just hates women. And they did the same tactic on Mike Pence that they did on Mitt Romney when he said we had binder full of women, meaning that he hired so many women, or that he was looking for positions to be filled by competent women. They portray that he was some type of, I guess, player or hustler that just used women, and kind of like the binders was like his black book of women. It doesn't even have to, really make sense for it to stick. And the same thing with Mike Pence is he didn't want to be, or there was that he didn't want to be around a woman, or that he had a kind of a rule that he wouldn't as associate much with women without another person present. I guess out of the fear, or just the good mind that an accusation could be leveled against him. And this was portrayed that he hates women. He hates women because he was trying to be cautious. And then, I mean, there is that, why there is a nice guys, but then you get to, kind of the Maxine Waters saying, it doesn't matter, interrupt, doesn't matter where they're at, gas station, restaurant, interrupt. And I think people take it, there's a protest, and it would start with Antifa. People, I think there's just kind of a blind eye, and you'll see it in Portland. There's a blind eye to violence. Violence against a certain kind, because there was Charlottesville, which will come up quite frequently when somebody says something about violence on the left. They'll say, well, what about Charlottesville? other than that incident, I do not know of many. I mean, and that's not even right. That was, I think it was white supremacist, or I can't even recall what that was, but that was not a right leaning, you know, conservative speaker talking, and then all of a sudden, there was call to violence in the streets. But I mean, there's this back and forth of attacks, and I think it's not going to lead to too much more confrontation, other than just kind of these back and forth scuffles between, Antifa and right leaning groups. And I don't see it escalating too much further. I'm sure it could get worse. But I think really what's going to happen is people are just going to elect Republicans, because people are just going to say that's crazy. This isn't. I think we're just going to elect some not crazy people. And I think a great Democratic strategy would just be to kind of ease up a little bit. Because I think there's a lot of people who would want to vote Democrat if it was just a little bit more moderate in tone and kind of tenor. So we'll see what happens as far as civility in politics goes.